Are you looking for life to be better? Dee Hurley is here with us today, and we're going to be talking about energy. Energy, you, and how healing your body, your mind, and your spirit will absolutely happen. Tune in. Have you ever been bored by a speaker? Why? Would you be happy being a boring speaker? Of course not. Well, I have been bored by speakers for decades, and I decided to change the world. Change the world. I created Storytizing, my signature training that will make you interesting, make you energized, make you more successful. It will have people wanting you to talk to them and to their organizations. It will get you booked on more stages. And isn't that what you really want? Storytizing. You need the training. I am the trainer. Hey, reach out to me, stevesapatoseminars.com. Hey, I'm Steve Sapato, and you're listening to The Happiness Agenda, a podcast so that we can help you find more happiness, find more freedom, find the powers that reside within you, and help you create a life that you absolutely love. And today, I'm absolutely blessed to have the amazing and spectacular Dee Hurley on the show, and we're going to talk about energy healing. Is that true, Dee?
Yes, I love talking about energy healing. Thank you for having me. That's
Oh,
a
my
wonderful
pleasure.
introduction.
Yeah, I've been following her for a while, and she's got a lot of great things to say, and I wanted to have her on the show. And folks, trust me, when you were talking about, especially today, when what's his face, the Kennedy guy, he comes out and he starts saying, "Hey, we got all these horrible things in our food, and we have all these horrible things going on, and all these people have lied to us about all this stuff." And then we go back to what 1923 or something when Rockefeller took over the healthcare system and pushed away all the naturopaths. And wow, when you start to think about all the things that used to be, we believed were
Oh,
true, and
yep.
are not true now. Okay, Dee, tell us what you do, how you got into it, and how long you've been doing it.
I know I agree with everything you're saying, and I follow your post too, and I love that you're kind of like-minded with these things. There's so many more people open discussing these things and what we're in here. And energy healing has been around a long time, a long time. It was before the medicine and the modern practices, and here they call it woo-woo and trying to get
Ooh.
people to prove it, And it was the first thing that people did, many years ago. That's what they went to, was the holistic practitioners, somebody who knew how to work with the frequencies or work with the earth, with nature. And I just love it that more people are talking about it. It's coming more mainstream. When I first started talking about energy and frequency, it was about God, I think 2019. It took me like an hour just to discuss how it worked whenever I was working with a client and trying to explain it. And I thought there's got to be a better way. But now it's getting out there. More people are reading books about it, listening to podcasts about it, and sharing their experiences. And it's wonderful time to be alive and to be sharing this.
Well,
So,
there's lots of different things that a lot of things have changed over the last few years, just a couple of years really. But one of the things, somebody came up and said, "Hey, have you noticed that there are no more bells?" And I was like, what does that mean?" They went, "All the bells, all the steeples, all the church bells, all the other bells that used to ring out, they don't anymore." And I
yeah.
went, "Well, what does that mean?" And they went, "Because bells have a frequency. Each bell has a different frequency, and each frequency would help us heal or help us understand. It would change things." And gradually they did away with all of the bells. If you think
I
about it, you're like,
know.
wait a minute, they have,
I
right?
know. It's like they want to profit on people being sick or something. It's kind
Yeah.
of weird.
Yeah. So, and that's all about frequency. And when you start to understand that we are cellular energy people, we are cellular people, and every cell, of course, is energy. We know that photons, electrons, all that stuff, right? But it's all about what makes you feel better. So, Dee, what do you do for people, and how can you do it for them?
Well, I started off doing it emotion code and body code, and I learned that from Dr. Bradley Nelson. He is a chiropractor, a Christian chiropractor, who learned that he can muscle test people or use kinesiology, and he could find trapped emotions in people's body and start working with their own body, because we know everything. It's all in our mind. They say we only use a certain percentage of our brain. But what he found out was intuitively, we do know what's going on in our own body, and we can muscle test our body and get a true answer to what's happening. And that just fascinated me when I read his book. And he talked about an energy field around people, like how we have an energy field about 6 feet around us, depending on what energy we're resonating with. And the higher the vibration, the happier we are, our energy is just expands a little more. And I just got so excited about learning more about it. And I got into it and started using it for myself and noticed changes in my own body. And I just started diving deeper, going down those rabbit holes. Like, wow, we need to be teaching our kids about this stuff. And sorry, I get off the point. I get so excited about it.
No, but that's why we love being on the podcast and being ourselves. That's the one thing when people listen, they go, you're so genuine, you're so real, and everybody uses the word authentic now. But when you get excited about something, when you change stuff, you hear people say, hey, wow, dude, you bring me down. Well, they're talking about the energy that you
Yeah.
radiate. And we've been hearing that since the 60s, right? Back when we were flower children and all that stuff. You bring me down. And that was all about the energy we bring. So you and I know, and everybody listening really knows that we can, as a professional MC and speaker, we can change the energy in a room by
Yeah.
doing certain things. And it's important that people start to really understand. So when we talk about how do we change ourselves, how do we change others, we talk about the healing power of food, of nutrition, of exercise. All that stuff is all now available to us because we're starting to open up, right? Right, Dee? We're
Yep.
starting to go, hey, wait a minute. I'm not totally believing a lot of this crap anymore. And so we start to look into the old things that are now new, right?
Yep, here it's coming back around, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And I love talking to people about that, how they said, this is stuff that my grandparents, I remember hearing some of this, it's somewhere in there. We've heard this stuff and it resonates with us. And I think that's why so many people are opening their eyes to it and they're getting into it. So I started doing the muscle testing on myself and that helped me clear up PTSD. I had diagnosed neuropathy. I had diagnosed ulcers. I had IBS, like everything that you could think of going wrong in my body was just falling apart. And I knew that I did not want to be on medications. I did not want to be like having pills on my nightstand like I saw my parents. I was like, I'm not going to be that. There's got to be a better way. And this stuff I could not believe how quick it changed everything. And I started working with clients or people, when you first start, you have to work with people and then submit reports. And you do that kind of, just to get your training under you.
Okay.
And then they were sending people to me, and then they were sending people to me. Before long, I'm working with doctors and their friends. And I'm like, wow, this stuff's fascinating. And then a friend of mine told me about a frequency scanning app, which kind of
Oh,
takes the work out of it for you. And now I use that a little more. So all you do is you put somebody's profile in the app. You just give it some information about the person and see if you can wrap your head around frequencies and healing. You can start to understand some of this other stuff, this technology about how, I don't know, I think about Star Trek, how they would scan somebody with a
oh,
little.
yeah, yeah.
It's kind of like this thing can, yeah. We're in those days. It's like you go to the hospital, you get in a machine and they can scan you and they can see through everything and see what's going on in your body. It's kind of the same concept. Now you can put your information into an app and this thing will scan your body and it will give you a full report and it'll show you which frequencies are out of alignment, like in your organs and your like if your heart's not doing well, you're going to get a report that's going to show like your frequencies are low here. And then it'll give you some suggestions on how to improve it. And it'll even give you specific frequencies for you to listen to that are specific to your body. So it can help you get back into alignment.
Now, wait a minute. Did you guys hear what she just said? There are certain frequencies that you can listen to. Now, I don't know anything about those. I know about my, like I was just telling Dee beforehand, I got a Tibetan bowl and it has a certain frequency that I was able to, when I ordered it, I said, I want this frequency. And I use tuning forks now for different frequencies. But I'm not up on frequency. When you say there's different, where do you find a different frequency to listen to that can help you change?
Well, this one, it takes all the work out of it for you because you put in your profile, whatever, your body, like your height, your weight, a picture of yourself, and it will look at your body and scan your body. And then it will make a whole playlist just specific for your body, exactly what it needs. And
Like a
you just
playlist,
listen
like
to it.
music?
Yes, a little music playlist with
No
some
kidding.
tones. And you listen to the music with the underlying tones. And what that's doing is it's giving you gentle nudges to your body to right where you're needing it, right? Exactly what you're needing for your body, because everybody's different, and every frequency is specific to whatever it is in your body that's needing that extra support. Yeah.
Well,
And
and so yeah, so let's say I send somebody I know to you. I say, hey, you need to talk to Dee. And then you talk to them a little bit and then you find out some things. And then what, you send them a program?
well, I usually will work with them a little bit and do some muscle testing, some kinesiology with them, and just find out what's going to support them better, and work with
No,
them.
okay, pause. Muscle testing. What does that
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah. So I will work with their body, ask questions, and I can do this even, I know that sounds crazy, but you could do this even over the internet.
Yeah,
You
remotely.
can
Okay.
connect with somebody. So a lot of my sessions are over Zoom, and I will muscle test them during the call. I'll just ask if I can connect to their energies, and then I will ask questions myself. And I'm standing in proxy for them. As long as they give me permission, I can ask the questions from their body and get the answers from their body. And then I'll find out if it's a yes or no, just like a yes or no questions. Like, what would support your body more? Would it be doing like an emotion code session? Do we need to clear some trapped emotions for you and just work that way? Or would you do better with having a frequency scan? And then I can put their profile in my scanner and then scan them. And then I'll just email them their report. And then they can listen to the frequencies. But I just want to work with their body, and their body knows exactly what they need to help support them the best.
So the problem for like I'm thinking I when I talk to people, I work with people on a relationship level,
Mhm.
and they don't know they have a problem. So they don't know they have an emotional challenge stuck back here somewhere. How do you find that out?
Most of us have these, we've carried them around for a long time. A lot of this programming is even before we're born. We can get the programming from our parents and our grandparents. This stuff gets passed down. These traumas genetically get passed down. And science has even proven that. Do you know they can look at the DNA like of generations before and see if like a rape victim, there's something in the DNA that will be different and change a marker on the DNA.
No, I
And that
didn't know that.
marker gets passed down through through the bloodline. So two or three generations down. So it does, there's science that proves, that these things do get passed down. And I know people who read the Bible say that too, these things get passed to the second and third generation, and they need to be cleared energetically. Somebody's going to come along eventually and say, you know what, we need to clear this trauma from our family line, our ancestors. And some of us, I believe in this time, are here to really do that, to do that work, to energetically clear our lines. And I know it gets a little woo woo, but this is some of the stuff I'm coming across.
You know what's interesting is you say some of it gets a little woo woo, and we all relate to that term. I think we can all go, yeah, well, But let's face it, what we took for fact for the last 50 years, we can go with the food pyramid. For the last 50 years, it said this is what you should do and this is what you should eat.
Yeah.
And when you find out that that's not true, right?
It's
It's
like
not
the
true at
opposite.
all. Yeah. And so when you start to realize that most of what has been taught to us, our education, didn't come from experience. It came from training where the big corporations said, we want people to do this. I mean, I was 30 years old, and one of my first talks, I talked to a group of people, and it was about the terrible things that alcohol does to your body,
Yeah.
right? And I said, do you know the government has a program that can eliminate all the bad stuff from the alcohol and give you all the same highs? And they were all like, really? I went, yeah. And they went, what is that? I went, it's called marijuana, right? And people went, no, marijuana is bad. Marijuana is bad for you. And I go, you know, first of all, it isn't. But when we start thinking about what the government has done, marijuana, and I'll say marijuana, but it was the hemp plant. The reason marijuana was made illegal was because they wanted to stop production of the hemp plant, which look exactly the same out in nature. They do different things. And most people don't know that the Declaration of Independence is on hemp paper. That's why it's still good after, 300 years. They don't know that rope was made out of hemp. They don't know that clothing was made out of hemp. They don't know that most of that stuff. And so then they go, yeah, but that's why cotton came along. No, cotton came along because you can't control the growth of hemp. It grows wild, right? Anybody can grow it, acres and acres of it if they want. but you have to have certain things to grow cotton. And the people who wanted to control the production of stuff controlled the production of cotton and limited who could work it, who could grow it, who could do this. The same with wood. We use wood pulp for all of our other products, and hemp is still good for all that stuff. You say wood paper, no, hemp paper. And
Yeah.
so one of the things that people need to start really looking at, Dee, is the fact that what we've been taught, is not true for a
Right.
good part of it. And we need to go back to the woo-woo stuff
Yeah.
that Dee is teaching, that Dee has a line on. So if Dee, how do they get hold of you if they want to get hold of you?
Well, I do have a website. It's lighthouseenergyhealing.com. I
Wait,
have a
wait,
lot of Mhm.
lighthouseenergyhealing.com.
Yes.
Okay, everybody writing that down? Because that's a lot to write down. Lighthouseenergyhealing.com. So I write it down so I can take the time so people can write that down too. Lighthouseenergyhealing.com. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I love what you said. I've heard about that hemp thing too. And if you watch this documentary on Netflix called How to Change Your Mind, it goes into some more of those things, like even how mushrooms, they were using that psychedelics in the 60s to open their mind and about peace and love. And they didn't like that because they needed some robots to go to war and fight. And it was changing their mindset and teaching
Yeah.
them how we're all connected, and we're all connected energetically. And that's why muscle testing works. And why you have this thought about somebody, all of a sudden they're calling you and you're going, I was just thinking about you.
Yeah, how
We
does that wait? You guys think about that? How does that work? You've had that happen
Yeah.
and you go, wow, that's weird. That's strange. No, it's not. That's called energy, and it's energy transmission. And it's our ability, if we learn how to tune into it again, that
Mhm.
can change our worlds, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that having cell phones also has helped expand our consciousness about these things, because, we used to have that line, I'm dating myself, but, to pick up the phone.
No,
We
not,
kind
I'm looking at you, Dee, and I'm like, you're not that old. So yeah.
of thank you. Well, anyways, it's neat that now we know that you don't see any lines connecting your devices. You don't see anything like that, but you can get a phone call. So that I think eventually we're going to have a time where we're even going to see that we're even a little more telepathic. I think we're going to get more of that consciousness and awareness in our bodies, because it's so many people are waking up to these things now, and it's just expanding the consciousness. And
Well, it's funny because I've been saying for decades now, because a lot of the stuff that people don't realize is called, for me, it's called intuition, right?
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
the energy of that. Most of us have forgotten our intuition. Most of us have ignored our intuition. Some people call it a gut feeling, right? And if you learn to trust that gut feeling, trust that intuition, you will make better decisions. You will come to more conclusions. You will start to think differently rather than always relying on something over here. Because really, the truth is, the facts almost don't matter in a lot of situations. Because what are the facts?
right.
Especially in today's world, they go, well, this is a fact. Well, no, it's not. Or during COVID, they said, trust the science. And then you found out that they weren't using the science at all. They were
Right.
just preying upon our belief system. And that goes back to our education system, right? Right, Dee?
Yes.
And they've trained our students to go get jobs, not to be thinkers, not to be great in their imagination. We don't create things in our school system. We teach kids they got to sit there, they got to behave, they got to draw this when I tell them to draw this, they got to do this when I tell them to do this. And yet you find out there's other nations that are teaching their students completely differently, and they're far surpassing our educational standards because they've created a different way of learning, right?
I am so 100%. I talk to my youngest now is 13, and we have these deep conversations about things exactly like this. And the programming and our education, it's really sad. I tell her, you need to listen to your gut, your instincts more than anything. And I wish they would have taught you this when you were a baby. That's one of the first things they should teach everybody. Just
Cool.
listen to your instincts, listen to your gut. We wouldn't have been fooled so much, all this
Well,
crap.
and obviously that's why they didn't do that, because if what we taught our kids was, what do you think, right? Instead of saying, oh, this is the answer. If they just said, hey, Dad, what about this? I go, what do you think, right? And that way they would come up with one or two answers. And they might be like, why is the sky blue? What do you think? Why is the sky blue? And they might go, because the zebra did this. You're like, yeah, that's probably not it, And then what another thought. But give them the opportunity to expand their universe by giving openness to thoughts, wild thoughts. The electric light bulb didn't come to be because somebody said, oh, fire is the only thing that's good.
Right.
Somebody went, well, what's beyond fire? What else could give us this kind of, and everybody went, nothing. And somebody
Yeah.
like Edison or whoever invented the light originally said, you know what? I bet you if you did this, look, there's a spark. And then they evolved that, right? And that's the challenge that we face in today's society. So if you folks want to feel better, want to live longer, want to have better intuition, want to have more thoughts so you don't get Alzheimer's and you don't get dementia, maybe you ought to reach out to Dee and say, hey, Dee, what can you help me with to help me expand my energies, right,
Yeah.
Dee?
Yeah, because every time you clear or you release some of those low vibration frequencies from your body, you start working better, your brain works better, everything gets healthier, everything just balances out. And we all need that, every one of us.
Oh yeah, we do. Some of the things. I mean, I've always been active my whole life, Dee, and as I got older, things change, and you do this. But it was about 4 years ago, maybe five, that my knees just started to go to hell. And of course, all my friends here in retirement communities go, "Oh, I've had double knee surgery. I've had two knee surgeries. I've had a knee surgery. Oh, I got to do this. I'm getting injections in my knee." And I was like, man, that's just not what I want to do. But the pain, like I couldn't walk up a flight of stairs. And then I saw something like this on the internet. And I said, well, what does that mean? And they said, do stuff without pain by doing this. And I went, and it was, you got to stretch. I went, what does that mean, stretch? I'm not big on stretching, right? And obviously that was one of the challenges is somewhere along the line, and I said this the other day, I watched some kids doing a somersault. So two little kids did a somersault, and the third kid, who was like one and a half, went to do a somersault and just went plopped right down on their face. But when we were kids, we didn't think anything of doing somersaults and rolling around on the ground or wrestling. And as you get older, you say, I can't do that because I can't get up or I can't get down. And about 2 years ago, Dee, I started to take stretching really seriously. And I really started watching some of the free videos that are out there. And now I stretch absolutely every day. I have almost zero knee pain. I can walk up and down stairs all the time. I can squat and get up from a squat. I mean, it doesn't sound like much to younger people, but to the older people. And I tell my friends here at the retirement community, where we live, try stretching. And they were like, no, I tried that. It doesn't work. Okay. And most of us aren't open. We aren't
Yeah.
open. So when we talk about energy healing, we want you to start thinking about yourself. What would it be like to start to get a little bit older and absolutely get better with age?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Dee can help you with that because she's the expert in teaching you how to use energy to heal your body, right, Dee?
Yep, listen to your body. It's all about mindset. Like you said, it's your mindset, your beliefs. There was a study, well, it was something that I read online one day about this surgeon who was going to do knee surgery. And he had like 4 patients, I think it was. They did the regular knee surgery on 2 of them. And the other ones, they just cut and made it look like they did the surgery. And they sent them home. And all 4 of them recovered exactly the same. 2 of them didn't even have the knee surgery.
Isn't that
So
crazy?
much with the placebo. Yeah.
And that's just it. Our minds control so much of our success. They control so much of our energy. It controls so much of our happiness. I talk to people all the time, Dee, and they'll say something about being unhappy. And you go like, why? Why? I have people look at me and go, why are you happy all the time? I go, why not? And they go, well, you can't be happy all the time. And I go, why not? Everybody should be happy all the time. Now, are you saying I don't have any down times? No, I have down times, but my down times are better than a lot of people's up times, right? Because they let themselves get depressed and they complain and they whine and they moan. And you're like, why? Why are you doing that? Well, because I ache, I hurt. Well, what are you doing for that? I mean, I could do the same thing, go back 4 or 5 years. Man, I couldn't go up and down the stairs. And I thought about changing the steps because they've got like 2 steps to get into my house. And I thought about taking those out and putting in 3 steps because they went from, I'll say, from 6-inch to 8-inch, even though I'm not sure the size. But how stupid that we think we have to change our stairs because we weren't smart enough to learn to do some stretching exercises every night that change our lives. And that's true with energy. So if you're looking to improve, Dee, how do they get hold of you again?
Well, lighthouseenergyhealing.com is the best. And I even have you can fill out a little contact form or you can text me. And I have all my information on it.
I want to text her.
Okay.
Oh, no, I guess that's something else. Don't tell my wife I said that. But it's one of those deals where the more you learn, the more you grow, right?
Yeah.
So what we want to do is become self-sufficient in everything we do. You want to get smarter, read more books. You want to get more intelligent, read more books. Listen to the more, the videos, the audios, all that stuff. You want to get happier, read more books, and or take training that will help you get there. And trust me, I've been watching Dee, and you guys, tell them where they follow you at. You're on social platforms.
I'm on everything. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
And do they look under Dee Hurley or Dee Marie?
Probably Dee Hurley. Yeah.
Dee Hurley. And Hurley is spelled Hurley. So I'm telling you should get out there and follow her. Read what she has to say and really start to take it to heart and say, I wonder if that'll help me. And you know what? There's only one answer to that, and that is ask. And find out if it can really help you. And I would reach out to Dee this week. So as soon as you see this is about a month away, so it'll be out in September, Dee. Okay. But you want people to reach out to Dee.
Yes, absolutely.
Go to her website or find her on one of the social media platforms and say, I watched you on the video and I really want to learn more.
And I'm happy to share. I love this.
Cool. That's really cool. Okay, we're at 27 minutes into this, Dee, so I appreciate your time today. We've been trying to get together for a little while, and I'm really excited that we have, and I want to maintain a connection here, Dee, because I think what you have to offer is absolutely what America, probably the world, but what America needs in order to get us to feeling better and being the person that we always thought we could be. I appreciate you being on. Do you have any last words of wisdom that you would like to share with us?
Well, I thank you for your platform and allowing people to share what they have to offer. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So the next thing I want you to do is click the subscribe button. Click the subscribe. It's right there. It's right. No, it's over here. Anyway, look for the subscribe button. It's there somewhere, right? And subscribe. Become somebody who listens to this every week so that you and everybody that you know can be happier, healthier, and have a better lifestyle. Thanks a lot. God bless.
Yeah. How did you do that?